Program Director, Deputy Minister or Deputy Ministers, Professor Makanya, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a most pleasant good morning. I am delighted to be here on what is my first official visit to South Africa since taking up the job as Deputy Secretary General of the Commonwealth. And coming from the Caribbean, there are close and inextricable ties between the peoples of the Caribbean and South Africa. And although we are small in size in the Caribbean, we were also champions for South Africa in the most difficult of times. And although most of us have never been, nor will be able to visit this beautiful land, we feel a deep bond and special connection as we continue to be inspired by the towering legacy of Madiba. As a Commonwealth, we are very pleased to partner with the government of South Africa and UNISA, who are leaders in the Commonwealth on the issue that we will be discussing at this conference in the coming days. Honorable Deputy Minister, I thank you, UNISA, and the dedicated team that have partnered with the Commonwealth for this second Commonwealth Conference on Youth Work. Your leadership in this respect will help many Commonwealth member states in developing a credible solution to the challenges facing many young people. Your decision to host this conference is an example of the vision and foresight we truly need in the youth development sector. We hope this conference will be the beginning of a new movement towards greater support for youth work in the Commonwealth and globally. It is indeed my immense pleasure to be here on this perfect Pretoria morning. And as I stand before you in this proud land, we are witnessing major changes taking place in the global landscape. The world is changing and changing fast. And if we do not adjust and adapt, many developing countries risk being eclipsed in this new global order. However, to adjust, excel, and advance human development in this new global disposition, we need to leverage the sum total of all resources available to policymakers. To my mind, the most obvious and valuable are our human assets. This is true of all countries, but more particularly for the 31 small states of the Commonwealth with limited physical resources. I think it is fair to say that when we speak to the issue of human assets, we are largely speaking about young people. For a moment, let us just look at the facts. As we meet here at the time of Africa's rise, there are more young people between the ages of 10 and 24 today than at any other time in human history. Africa is the youngest continent on the planet with an estimated 70% of its population being classified as young. By the end of this century, 41% of the world's youth will be African. In terms of the Commonwealth, there are more than 1.2 billion people under the age of 30, accounting for over 60% of our total population. Notwithstanding the demographic realities, young people are confronted with a range of challenges, including high levels of unemployment, lack of access to quality education, and rising crime and violence. According to the ILO, over 73 million young people worldwide are unemployed. In many of our member states, youth unemployment levels are still at all-time highs. Moreover, young people are also the most vulnerable to conflict and violence, as they represent 43% of the total number of homicides globally each year. Africa has the world's highest rate of homicides of young women. In terms of literacy, an estimated 122 million youth globally cannot read nor write, of which young women represent 60.7% or 74 million. Youth non-literacy rate is estimated at 11% in developing countries, with sub-Saharan Africa's percentage standing at 29%. Furthermore, nearly 58 million children of primary school age were not enrolled in school in 2012. Around 43% of those out of school, or 15 million girls and 10 million boys, will probably never set foot in a classroom in their lifetime. Given this reality, policymakers must recognize that we cannot advance human development without addressing these challenges and tapping into the tremendous potential of young people as essential partners in advancing human development in this continent and elsewhere. The risks of doing otherwise are enormous. So we clearly recognize there is no other option but to fully involve and integrate the youth agenda in our work as policymakers. The big question is, how do we get it done? Why are some countries more successful than others? An integral part of the solution is the emphasis and resources invested in youth work and youth workers. This, to my mind, is why the second conference on youth work is so valuable and underlined by the theme, Commonwealth Commitment to Youth Work and Development. Investing in the development of professional youth workers will bring together at local and national levels professionals with the right skills and competences to enrich, equip, and build our youth for the future. I am sure that we can all agree on this part. However, the reality is quite different in many of our member states, where youth work and the resources allocated are clearly insufficient. It should be pointed out that although progress has been made, in many respects, we need to do much more. I am pleased to let you know that we in the Commonwealth have been responding for over 40 years to this issue. In 1973, Commonwealth heads of state had a visionary idea to create a dedicated youth program that would train government staff and other interested persons with the skills and knowledge to lead youth work in their member countries. In the Commonwealth, we have long championed the idea that youth work, theory and practice, has its rightful place in the academic and development fields. We are pleased to share with you that after 4 decades of making this case, we are seeing good results in our member states. Almost all of them now have dedicated youth departments, youth ministries, focal points, and many of them employ youth workers who have specialized training to work with young people. To this end, the Commonwealth Diploma and certificate courses in youth development are well known and were delivered in over 30 universities and academic institutions across the Commonwealth. In many of the Commonwealth countries I visit, both public officials and young people speak of the impact and value of the Commonwealth Diploma on them as individuals and on the work they do for young people. Youth workers are dedicated professionals working tirelessly to guide and support youth empowerment. They are instrumental and essential to national development, as their work helps to create conditions for enabling and engaging young people. Our aim is to build the capacity of the youth work sector to help young people grow and contribute to their societies. Our strategy is threefold and straightforward. Firstly, invest in training and education of youth workers. Secondly, support the development of professional youth work associations, and thirdly, support the creation of a body of knowledge in the field to support practitioners. The journey towards professionalizing a sector is never easy, so a strategic direction has shifted towards supporting academic institutions to develop degree programs in youth development work. In June of last year, at the 19th Conference of Education Ministers, I was pleased to sign a MOU among the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Commonwealth of Learning, and the University of the West Indies on this issue. I am also pleased to announce that work is well on its way towards establishing a Commonwealth Consortium of Academic institutions to offer a youth work degree and diploma through an open educational resource. These initiatives will expand access to youth work education for youth workers all across the Commonwealth, enabling thousands more people to gain professional qualifications, particularly those in small and developing countries. In recent years, we have broadened our focus on youth work to target the youth work profession itself, including supporting and strengthening national youth work associations, developing competency standards for the youth work sector, and developing alternative pathways for youth worker qualifications. We hope to soon see a Commonwealth alliance of youth work associations that will add significant value to the youth work sector across the Commonwealth. For the last 4 years, we have led a Commonwealth Youth Work Week when we recognize, celebrate, and advocate for youth workers across our Commonwealth, all of whom have inspirational stories. One such example is Victor Ochen, last year's Youth Work Awards winner and a 2015 Nobel Prize nominee. I would encourage governments, youth workers, and policymakers to build on these efforts to make Commonwealth Youth Work Week in November 2016 bigger and better, and to join us in honoring these professionals and local heroes. We know that beyond professional youth workers, there are a great number of persons who also give much time and effort to serve young people, and we celebrate their contribution as well. To the youth workers here and all over the Commonwealth in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the Pacific, I must commend you for your commitment and dedication to young people. Through your action in schools, youth clubs, street corners, sporting organizations, civil society, and in government. Your efforts as youth workers are vital to our Commonwealth as we seek to advance and accelerate human development. I hope you have a successful conference, and I look forward to receiving your conclusions and recommendations. Thank you so very much.